Hello. I am the Linux Mensch. A few days ago, I did a video about whether or not a Linux system can get a virus and whether or not you need to run antivirus software in your Linux system. I also did a demonstration on an antivirus software that's available in Linux called ClamAV, otherwise known as Clam Antivirus. Now, this software is available for Mac, Windows, and Linux. And in the Linux world, it's available in every Linux distribution. Now, this is a software program that works in a terminal, and I did a demonstration in the terminal on how to download it, install it, configure it, and use it. But there is a separate application that's written by and maintained by a different person, a different developer, unrelated to ClamAV, but it's written to work with ClamAV and on top of ClamAV. It's a front-end program that runs, it's a GUI program. And GUI is GUI, it stands for Graphical User Interface. Now, I know in my previous video I said it's Guided User Interface, which is true, but really the correct term is Graphical User Interface. So anyways, this program is called ClamTK, and it's a graphical user interface, and it's also available in every Linux distribution. So I'm going to give you a demonstration of how to use it. I'm in Arch Linux, and I'm using the Qtile window manager. So I'm going to press the super key and enter to open my terminal. So if you're running Arch, you would type in sudo pacman s ClamAV, leave a space, and ClamTK. If you're running Debian or a Debian-based system, you would type in sudo apt install. Oh, you don't need the S there if it's Debian. So if it's a Debian-based system, you type in sudo apt install ClamAV and ClamTK. Or if you're running Arch or an Arch-based system or a Debian-based system that has a modern graphical user interface like Linux Mint, Manjaro, MX Linux, or any of the other Linux distributions that have a modern software repository, within the GUI, you just go to their software repository, their software center, and do a search for and click on ClamAV and ClamTK. So I'm going to close the terminal, and I've already installed it, and this is Qtile. So of course, this Qtile window manager I'm using has been configured to the way I like to use it. It's not a default configuration file. So I've already programmed it into the keys. So if I hold down Control Super Key and C, it's going to open up ClamTK. Now, if you're running a default Qtile window manager, then you would hold down the Super Key, and I believe it's R. And it would bring up this spawn, and you would type in ClamTK. And it's going to open it up like that. Now, I'm just going to close this down for a second, and I'm going to open up my Cinnamon desktop. I'm going to put my password in. Now I'm still in Arch, but I'm opening up the Cinnamon desktop. It's just going to take a second for it to open, and there it is. And once you installed ClamAV and ClamTK, you just hit your menu. And I know it's in here somewhere. It's in Accessories. You go to Accessories, and there it is there, ClamTK. Click it on, and it's going to open. And of course, you can maximize it and make it large screen. But I'm going to log out of here, and I'm going to use the Qtile window manager to look at this, just because I like it. Although I do like the Cinnamon desktop as well. It's my favorite desktop environment. So I'm going back into Qtile, and I'm going to hold the super key down, the control super key, and hit C. Now this is only working because I have my Qtile, it's configured. And even before we do that, let's go and look at it. I'm going to close this. I'm going to open my Qtile configuration file. And I'm going to go to this line here. See, line 96. This is the line that enables me to open Qtile. Sorry, this is the line that when I'm in Qtile, this is the line that enables me to open up ClamTK with the mod key or the super key and Control C. Anyways, I just thought I would show you that. Let's close the terminal and let's open up Qtile. So I have Qtile open, and the first thing you're going to notice is this bright yellow thing that says the antivirus signatures are outdated. So whenever you do a scan from ClamAV, regardless of whether you're using the terminal or you're using ClamTK, you always have to update the virus signatures because every day there are new antivirus signatures added to the system. And that would be true for any antivirus software that you're using. That would be the case. The signatures always have to be updated. So it's warning you the antivirus signatures are outdated. So I'm going to update it. And you click on this icon here, update antivirus signatures. And it says here, you are configured to automatically receive updates. Okay, I didn't know that I was. Let's go back. And then I'm going to click on the update assistance. The antivirus signatures are outdated. So here, yeah, now this is the one we want to go to. Oops, I closed that. Let's go back into it. Let's open it. So you want update assistant. So you want to go into the update assistant and you have a choice. Please choose how you will update antivirus signatures. My computer automatically receives updates, or I would like to update signatures myself. So you can click on either one. I'm going to click on this one. I would like to update signatures myself, and I'm going to apply. Your changes were saved. Now I'm going to go back, and now I'm going to go into update, and I'm going to check for updates. So now it's checking for updates, and it's going to update the antivirus signatures. So it shouldn't take too much longer than a second or two. And now it's completed. Now let's go back. And now you can see that yellow bar, that warning is gone, which I really like. I think that's amazing. So then you can go into Scheduler, and you can schedule a time if you want your computer to automatically do a scan every night or a scan during the day when you're at work. And be careful with that because a scan could take an hour or two or several hours, depending on how large your hard drive is and how many files you have in it. And especially if you have a lot of videos and music files, a scan of your whole system could take a long time. But with the scheduler, you're able to set a scan hours and minute and set when you want it to do the scan. And also if you set it to automatically update the signatures, you can set a time here in this area when to update the signatures. Now I have used this before and it's quite a while. It's probably about 2.5 years since I've used it, but it does work and it's a good system. Now, I don't use it now because I like to tinker around in a terminal. I'm a terminal type of person and I like to do things in the terminal, and that's the only reason why I don't use ClamTK. But it's fantastic. It's easy to use, it's user friendly, and I recommend using it. So anyways, this is a scheduler. You can schedule when to do your scans and schedule when to automatically update the signatures. So I'm going to close this. Now, another thing that I like here is the settings. So by default, when I installed ClamTK the other day, all these settings were off except for this one. So I like to click on these settings. Now, these settings are the same settings that I set Clam antivirus to do in my last video when I showed you how to configure Clam antivirus in the terminal. I set all these settings, but of course you had to configure it in the terminal. Here it's easy to do. So you just click on here, scan directories recursively. So that's going to scan directories within directories within directories with files within files and all the files within those directories and subdirectories. Scan larger files than 2 megabytes. Scan files beginning with dot. That'd be configuration files. I don't know what this heuristic scanning is, so I'm going to leave it off. And scan for PUAs. And remember, PUA is a possible unwanted application. So I click all those on, and they're set, and now I'm just going to go back. Let's just see if they stayed on, and they did. Let's go back. Now you have the ability to do a manual scan. You can scan a particular file, or you can scan a folder. So I am going to scan a directory. Let's scan a directory. Let's scan my Mensch directory like I did in my last video about this. In the terminal, I scanned the Mensch directory. So let's open it up. And let's OK it. So it's preparing the scan and it's going through the scan in my Mensch directory. It should take probably a minute or two. It shouldn't take that long. And it's finished. So it's telling me no threats were found, and I can close this. And if I just move this here, now it doesn't move. I can close that, and it's telling you the scan is complete. It scanned 82 files, and possible threats were 0. Now I can close that, and I can go into history, and you can see here's the history. I did a scan on January 24th. And I can view it or print it. And I can view it, and this is it. Found 0 possible threats. Only scanned 1 file. No threats found. Now let's open up today. So let's highlight today and let's view it. So here it's showing the date, and I don't know if you can see that because it's kind of dark. I hope you can see it on the video. It's showing the date up here. I can't highlight it, it doesn't work, but it's showing the date. It's showing that it found 0 possible threats. 82 files were scanned. No threats found. So let's go back. And let's try scanning a file. Let's go into Mensch. And let's scan this license. And there it is, no threats found. Let's close it. Scanning complete. File scanned was 1, 0 threats. So we can go back into the history now. Oops. And open up this January 26th. And you can see we did 2 scans. On January 26th, we did 2 scans. First, I scanned 82 files, 0 threats. And the second scan, I only scanned 1 file, 0 possible threats. So let's close that. And let's go back. And that's it. So that is ClamTK. So that was a brief look at ClamTK. ClamTK. It's a wonderful application that works on top of Clam antivirus. It's easy to use and configure, and it's fantastic for the person who doesn't want to work in the terminal or doesn't like the terminal. And it's just a wonderful program. It's been around for 18 years, and it's available in every Linux distribution. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. I am the Linux Mensch.